So basically, Patrick Mahomes cannot win the three-peat because the GOAT debate cannot be over with over 10 years left, 10, 15 years left of Patrick Mahomes' career. So you can't already be talking about this guy like he's the GOAT. Now, everybody obsesses over the GOAT conversation so much because people are obsessed about comparing guys throughout different eras. This is why the networks, even before the AFC title game was played, was ready to say who is chasing whom faster. Is Reed chasing Belichick faster, or is Patrick Mahomes chasing Tom Brady faster? So the narrative has already been set, but it's not gonna be, oh, Patrick is he's gonna be at 5 rings or whatever with 10 years of NFL experience. Just it's a long book. There's multiple chapters. So chapter one is, getting the starting job and getting that first Super Bowl win. And chapter two is the dynasty. And chapter three is just going to be about the high and mighty AFC. Our teams closing the gap on the Kansas City Chiefs. Is there too much competition in the AFC? And one thing that may make Patrick Mahomes the GOAT is the fact that he is playing in a very competitive conference. The AFC is what the NFC was during the mid late 80s and the early mid to late 1990s. This is what we're dealing with. There was a point in time when Tom Brady had 3 Super Bowl rings, and then Ben Roethlisberger had 2. So in the past dynastic cycle of the Patriots, we did see Tom Brady stuck at 3 rings, and we somewhat saw the gap close on Tom Brady. So and it wasn't just Ben Roethlisberger. Eli Manning had 2 rings, so you had Tom Brady 3. You had Eli Manning 2. You had Ben Roethlisberger 2 rings because he won Super Bowl 40 and Super Bowl 43, and then Peyton Manning had that one Super Bowl right before Super Bowl 48, 49. So my point is, when before Tom Brady began cycle number 2 of the Patriots dynasty, the gap was somewhat closing in on Tom Brady. So I do expect something similar of that nature to happen. Now, the Las Vegas factor is happening. So basically, let's not sugarcoat it. Let's not pretend that nobody, the public faded the Chiefs. The Bills were the popular team in Super Bowl 57 on the AFC side, the year of Super Bowl 57. The Chiefs were the favorite team to beat the Bengals in the 2022 2023 AFC Championship game. So nobody was predicting the Chiefs because, they were without Tyreek Hill. And then this year, everybody was going with the Baltimore Ravens. So during this was the chance to go with the Chiefs in the last couple of years. The public lost. It's a little bit different. The networks are working the propaganda and the conditioning and the brainwashing in overtime. These networks are telling you that Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT because they are programming you that it has already happened. So they want you, and they're talking about three-peat because of narratives next year. They want you to go with the Chiefs to win the three-peat for next year. The fact is, the last couple of years, Las Vegas won. Nobody had the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl in the public. The majority did not have the Chiefs. So don't think it's going to be that easy. It wasn't that easy with the logo, was it? No, it was not easy. You thought it was easy. It wasn't going to be something as easy as, the logos or the colors. Those are the teams. No, that was a psyop. I told you exactly what would happen with the logo psyop. The public had their chance. Most of the futures will be on the Chiefs predictably before the start of next year. The majority of the futures were not on Kansas City last year. I can dig through the articles. But we all know the 49ers dominated the futures market last year, and that's why they lost the Super Bowl. And it didn't matter if everyone thought that if most of the handle was on the Chiefs to win the game. The big money makers was the futures market and the player props, the score, touchdowns, what have you, over under player yards. Again, as I've told you already, articulate that talking point. So basically, this is the time where people are going to think the Kansas City Chiefs are the dynasty is somewhat over. Lamar Jackson's going to win the Super Bowl because obviously, when you are a two-time MVP, if Lamar Jackson gets the Super Bowl, then they'll be comparing Lamar with Mahomes. Burrow is going to beat this guy multiple times in the playoffs. Joe Burrow is set to win the Super Bowl. Part of the Matrix paradigm of control, they just will not make it that obvious. So something such as Joe Burrow's going to win at the same stadium he won the national title game, they'll line it up to where, whoa, it's a comeback player win the Super Bowl, Joe cool. But it's just a matter of timing differences. The range for the Bengals is Super Bowl 59 to Super Bowl 60. That's what I call the range. The range to where the Bengals can win the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 59, Super Bowl 60 is the range. That's the range. The actual year I have is Super Bowl 60, but the range will be Super Bowl 59 to Super Bowl 60. That's the range in time to when the Bengals can win the Super Bowl. Jim Harbaugh's getting the ring. The 49ers are cursed. They kicked out a great coach to the curb. Karma. Jim Harbaugh's going to win a Super Bowl first before the 49ers. That's karma for Jed York and the rest of the Eagle Maniacs running the 49er front office. So Jim Harbaugh's going to get a Super Bowl because, it was rigged against them. Did Ahmad Bradshaw fumble? But the referees blew the play dead because they ruled forward progress, even though some argued that Ahmad Bradshaw fumbled. The 49ers could have taken the ball, kicked the game-winning field goal right before the end of regulation, the 2011-2012 NFC Championship game. You can watch the highlights of the game. They should be able to show the play that was ruled forward progress before a potential fumble. Time on the clock, the play clock, ball spots. That's where some argue that the NFL rigged the NFC title game against the 49ers at Seattle. And a holding play like that, they're just going to, choke on their whistles. They're not going to blow on the whistle. The whole, I think his name was Jimmy Graham or whatever, whoever that Ravens defensive back was, holding or no holding against Michael Crabtree. So, Jim Harbaugh, he got the raw end of the stick because the gold rush is over. That's kind of the historical scripting for the 49ers because their Super Bowls are rigged. Because that's just a reenactment of the gold rush. The golden domer helmet Joe Montana played with the 49ers, the red and gold. So those Super Bowls are rigged. Remember, San Francisco's 55-0 in the Super Bowl. That was rigged. So it might as well be rigged for them to lose few Super Bowls because their Super Bowls were easily rigged. It was rigged, scripted, game-winning drive against the Bengals. I think was it Super Bowl 23? I think it was. But Joe's come out here at 30. That's when he became 3-0 in the Super Bowl. So the Bengals are going to win. That's the general point. The Ravens, Jackson, and Burrow and Herbert wins the Rams win back at home. And then the Bills moving into the new stadium. So Josh Allen's going to win a scripted ring. People are just, oh, never going to win a Super Bowl. This will never, ever win. Relax. It's coming. It's scripted. Guys play for 20 years. Not everything has to happen so quick. 20 years is a long-ass time. It's going to be a long time to write the script for every quarterback out there. The AFC really is that dominant. So the Bills are going to win the ring. Then, if there's one guy to win 2 rings, it's got to be Joe Burrow. This guy's the top rival of Patrick Mahomes. So Joe Burrow is going to win 2 rings. Not Lamar Jackson, not Justin Herbert, not Josh Allen. Super Bowl 63, the year of Super Bowl 63, has the ability to be the most entertaining season in quite some time. Because which quarterback is going to emerge and be a ring away from tying Patrick Mahomes? Because Eli and Ben had 2 before Tom Brady took off. So let the beast out of the cage, unleash the beast, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes goes all GOAT mode. He goes all beast mode. And he lets it loose. He will win the first 3P in the history of the NFL. In Super Bowl 66 is the beast number. And he will do so against the Packers, in my view. The Vikings are a team that he could beat in the 110th NFL season to be 5-2 in the Super Bowl. 6-2, I have to honestly see about that. But, obviously Cowboys are interested. But I don't know how good they're going to be. Dak is 35 or something of that nature. No, he's not 35. He may be 30 of that nature. And obviously, yeah, I don't know what they got for Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, but yeah, teams like the Raiders and the Cardinals and these NFC South teams, they got to forget about it. You're not going to have a chance until Patrick Mahomes retires. You're just going to have to get over it. The AFC is the best right now. And Patrick Mahomes is supposed to win 7 Super Bowls. So you just got to let go of your gay-ass team. Like the Raiders, that's a gay-ass team. They're not going to win anything. Then let it go because they're not winning anything. So stop caring too much. Just stop caring too much. They're not trying to win. They're not trying to write the script for that team. So fuck them. They're not winning. Don't get all butt hurt. You're saving yourself from emotional distress. So screw this gay-ass team. Oh, I'm a good yeah. Because these teams are not winning any Super Bowl. God ain't winning no Super Bowl. Hurts ain't winning no Super Bowl. Well, what will be interesting, the most interesting Super Bowls to me are going to be the Super Bowls in between. So it's going to be the Super Bowl 67 to 69. Those will be the most interesting 3 Super Bowls. Who's going to win in between that time? Any new quarterbacks going to emerge from the draft? Is there going to be a year for Trevor Lawrence or what have you? That's what we are talking about. Your CJ Stroud, what have you? 66, Houston Texans, 66 playoff Super Bowls. There's some interesting possibility that we talk about as the Dallas Texans are the Chiefs, and will the Texans win? But after the Chiefs win, we'll have to see about that. But there's a lot of interesting narratives in between the time that I see Patrick Mahomes winning that elusive 7th Super Bowl, the tie Otto Graham and Tom Brady, and it all lines up. 10 championship games, 10 seasons for Otto Graham, 7 Super Bowls. He won the 1955 NFL championship game, 10 Super Bowls, and 7 victories for Tom Brady winning Super Bowl 55. And Patrick Mahomes in the Chiefs' 10th Super Bowl appearance can win the organization's 7th Super Bowl. So the 107 for Patrick Mahomes is going to be the Chiefs' 10th Super Bowl appearance, and Patrick Mahomes his 7th victory, because Len Dawson won the other Super Bowl in the history of the Chiefs. And it all makes sense. Otto Graham died at 82. Patrick Mahomes taken in the 82nd NFL draft. The Chiefs can be 8-2 in the Super Bowl. It's going to happen. And people are not going to believe in the Chiefs, especially if they go 5 years without winning the Super Bowl. And if people believe the cheaters were ever going to win anything, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and Spike, they can only win because they cheat and they deflated some footballs. They put that to the rest. There's going to be a scandal that breaks out with the Chiefs during this time. There will be a scandal. Did we see any scandals emerge from the Cowboys or the Steelers or the 49ers? There certainly was a scandal there as far as cheating goes in the Patriots. Well, we'll hear about something, doping or whatever with the Kansas City Chiefs. They got to make people hate this team more. They get them more riled up in between the time that they're not winning Super Bowls. Lamar will win the Super Bowl. Lamar will be the next 100% black quarterback to win at the birthday of Doug Williams. His number is 17. The Ravens have 17 playoff wins as a franchise. This is John Harbaugh's 17th season. What can John Harbaugh do? He can be the second active coach to have multiple Super Bowl rings other than Andy Reid. This is what John Harbaugh can be. Another coach in the Hall of Fame. Who's going to be that guy outside of Andy Reid and Bill Belichick? That guy has to be John Harbaugh. The years of consistency like Bill Belichick and Andy Reid. Winning Super Bowls with two different quarterbacks. All of these AFC title games, he is going to be the guy that will get 2 Super Bowl rings. I told you guys. This is what's going to go down. It's no coincidence I can pick the Chiefs to win all 3 Super Bowls. I never picked the Niners to beat the Chiefs in Super Bowl 54. I went Chiefs over Texans and Chiefs over Titans and Chiefs over the 49ers. I told you for the playoffs last year, Chiefs over Eagles. Patrick Baby Go is winning because State Farm is his advertiser, and it was at State Farm Stadium. So who did we go for the Kansas City Chiefs? We went with the Chiefs over the Bengals, the Chiefs over the Eagles. Who was the divisional round opponent for last year? Yeah, because the Bills say they lost to the Bengals. So who was the Chiefs' opponent? I don't think it was some significant opponent. I don't know how I can forget this team easily. No, okay, the Jaguars. You see, no one cares about the Jaguars. That's right. I just checked. It was the Jaguars. Yeah, you're right. There's some point shaving there. They covered the spread at the very last minute. That's all that happened in that game. Now my memory is being refreshed. So I went Chiefs over Jaguars and Chiefs over Bengals and then Chiefs over basically for all 3 Chiefs Super Bowls. I predicted the Chiefs to win every playoff game they were playing that year. So this is how I predicted the Chiefs to win all 3 Super Bowls. But not once did I add the Chiefs losing to the 49ers. Only very briefly before divisional round, but then it was there with the 41ers. They passed on Patrick Mahomes. You see, got to look into the number of Joe Montana who played for both teams. This is how you can tell. And so I picked. I did go with the Chiefs over the Bills and the Chiefs over the Ravens and then the Chiefs over the 49ers. So this is how you get a clear read on what's happening with the script over these next few years. So let's go through the motion. 57 to 66. So that'd be 10 years? I think like double digits for the AFC. The AFC is just too good. It'll be an NFC curse. They're all on the AFC side. I wasn't old enough to watch the John Elways and the Montanas, early '90s Favre and all of that. But that's basically where we're at. We're at the point in time where the AFC is just too good. They have all of the stars. That's why it'll be easy for the Lions to recover. A loser team with the Lions can only make it when the NFC is that weak. It's a given the Lions are going to be in the Super Bowl. That is the top bet for next year. The Lions to win the NFC. Before you get into that beastly conference over there with all these hot shots, Lions going to win, wipe the floor with all these mediocre, garbage-ass quarterbacks in the NFC. Mediocre Brock Purdy. They don't make those Super Bowls in the AFC. You got to make the Super Bowl with the 49ers roster. And Jalen Hurts is just a gimmick. Oh, look at all these interceptions. This guy is just Dak Prescott. That's all he is. And Dak sucks. Joe Burrow gets the Jared Goff gets on a yards, but he's not. He doesn't have that it factor like the other guys in the 2-minute offense in the playoffs. So it's easy. AFC's going to dominate. So Super Bowl 63 for the Bengals. I'll go into that tonight. Super Bowl 63 is going to be the most interesting season, I think, because that will be the year that shows which quarterback is going to be one ring behind Patrick Mahomes. That's what the script writers have written. And Patrick Mahomes, he didn't have to worry about only Peyton Manning. He had to worry about Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and some say, and that includes C.J. Stroud and Trevor Lawrence into the conversation. Too early to tell. I mean, the NFC won't win for the next 5 or 6 years, so it's too early to tell. Too early to tell. I think Andy Reid looks like he's in great shape. I still see a little ginger stash. He hasn't gotten gray or anything, so Andy Reid still got a lot of energy. I like how he's losing a lot of weight. He can make it that far. He can coach as long as he wants. He lives and dies for football. He practically, was involved in the raising of his sons. No wonder why they got in a lot of trouble. Andy Reid just wasn't around. He wasn't parenting because this guy was all about football. So I think it's going to stay that way. This guy is a football junkie. So he'll do it until he can no longer physically be able to perform the job duties. Joe Burrow is that guy. There's one team to beat the Chiefs next year. If there's two teams, number one, Aaron Rodgers against Patrick Mahomes. Number two, Joe Burrow. To set up the Joe Burrow to New Orleans psyops. If the Jets and the 49ers are in the divisional round, then you have your little Jets 49ers Super Bowl logo crank pot psyop. Then Rodgers finally beats the 49ers. But Las Vegas is going to make record-breaking profits off of Lamar Jackson because people think Lamar is not capable, cannot win. It's very easy. All you have to do is run the ball 30 times, and the run's going to set up Lamar's feet and his mobility in the passing game. And Mark Andrews is going to be there the whole time. You're Travis Kelce, George Kittle, if you are the Baltimore Ravens. Derrick Henry to the Ravens. Derrick Henry, I like to the Ravens. Has Vegas made any odds on Derrick Henry's next team? Odds makers favor the Ravens to land Henry. King Henry. King Henry to land to the Ravens. Derrick Henry would be smart to go to the Ravens. I mean, he is picked number 45, and New Orleans is 45. I like how he's number 22. And I do like how Doug Williams won Super Bowl 22. And the Super Bowl will be 36 days after January the 4th, his birthday, and Doug Williams played for the Redskins. Redskins 36. There is going to be a Doug Williams, Caleb Williams riddle, number one pick in the draft, and which team finishes number one. I really like the Doug Williams riddles and how they line up for Baltimore. I think everybody's not going to believe in Lamar Jackson except for the partners out there. I think that's great news for Las Vegas. That's just how I looked at it. A Southern boy, Alabama, Derrick Henry, Florida, played back, New Orleans. Why not? Why not? Bengals is team number 2 on the list that I like Derrick Henry the toy. But the number one fit for Derrick Henry, as far as the Smash Mouth identity goes, is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. We'll find out. We are close to 10 days left in February, and this would be a proper time to break down the top team to land Derrick Henry. So that will be the next thing that I will dig into some more. So remember, we were at this point in the cycle where people have some doubt about the dynasty continuing, but it's just a pause. It's just an interruption, and uh, it will resume. That's basically how I look at this.